The idea of service as a test of good citizenship should be kept constantly before the minds of the people of Philadelphia. Edward W. Bach, a Dutch immigrant and highly successful publishing executive, gained national recognition as editor of the groundbreaking Ladies' Home Journal.
He was very shrewd. He was a publicist. That's what he did. That's what he did best. He had a work ethic. He had a strong sense of community. Even at the very earliest on, he had been helped when he was an immigrant boy in Brooklyn.
Edward Bach hired some of the leading figures of the time as columnists, and his own editorials revealed his pioneering ideas about family planning, sex education, environmental protection, and educational reform.
He was completely committed to the idea that we all are responsible for our fellow men, and that drove him. And he had faith in the individual.
After retiring from the Ladies' Home Journal, Bach published his Pulitzer Prize-winning autobiography, and he devoted his time to philanthropy. In 1921, he founded the Philadelphia Award. It honors a citizen of the Philadelphia region who takes action on behalf of the best interests of the community. Bach understood that service to others tends to make lives happy and communities prosperous. Just a year after Edward Bach founded the Philadelphia Award, pharmaceutical executive Dr. Albert Barnes created a foundation dedicated to the promotion of the advancement of education and the appreciation of the fine arts. The Barnes Foundation in Lower Merion, Pennsylvania, housed this vast collection of Impressionist, Post-Impressionist, and modern art in a beautiful building surrounded by a lush 12-acre arboretum. Dr. Barnes passionately believed in education and held deep beliefs about how the viewer was meant to perceive and learn about art. Today, after years of effort and after addressing the challenges of public debate and controversy, the art collection and educational functions of the Barnes have moved to a stunning new facility on the Benjamin Parkway, designed by architects Todd Williams and Billy Chen.
Having the Barnes first in Philadelphia, in a location that could accommodate the large numbers of people in Philadelphia, in the suburbs, across the United States of America, and quite honestly around the world. This was about access more than anything else.
And it will be available to what Dr. Barnes called plain people. That's his term. And he defined plain people as the people who get up every morning and go to work in the factories and offices of this country.
The extraordinary undertaking to move the Barnes was accomplished by a dedicated cross-section of art lovers, philanthropists, civic leaders, gifted architects, and skilled laborers who came together to create an expansive, modern, and accessible building. Yet it reflects the unique gallery style of the original Barnes facility. For their vision and steadfast leadership in managing the successful journey of the Barnes to its striking new home on the Benjamin Parkway, Joseph Neubauer and Aileen Roberts are honored with the 2011 Philadelphia Award.
The purpose of the Philadelphia Award is to celebrate unique and game-changing contributions to the city of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia region, and in their own ways. Aileen and Joe both personify what the award is all about.
Everything that Aileen and Joe have been involved with, they seem to have that triumph of spirit that carries us on.
When you talk about good citizenship, I think they are the perfect couple in that regard. So this is great for Philadelphia, it's great for them, and it will inspire, I believe, others to seek to do the same.
Joe and Aileen guided the fundraising, the design, and construction of the new Barnes building, and the myriad details along the way to complete the project.
You needed to stay focused, you needed to stay unrelenting in your commitment to excellence, and you needed not to be sort of put off course by some of the controversy swirling around the Barnes project. That's exactly what Aileen and Joe did. Razor focused on a great outcome to protect a world-class treasure.
Joe Neubauer was born in Israel in 1941 after his parents escaped from Nazi Germany. Joe was just 14 when they put him on a boat for America to start a new life. His determination and work ethic were evident early on as he learned English, worked to help pay for college, graduating from Tufts University with a degree in chemical engineering, and later the MBA program at University of Chicago. At age 27, Joe became the youngest vice president at Chase Manhattan Bank. He later joined PepsiCo as vice president and treasurer of the parent company. In 1979, ARA Services hired Joe as executive vice president of finance and chief financial officer. Within a short time, he became president and then CEO. Under his leadership, the company, now Aramark, went public in 2001. And today, with 250,000 employees, is a world leader in food, hospitality, facility, and uniform services. Local community engagement is part of the Aramark credo, and Joe and his wife Jeanette and their family have generously supported numerous scholarships, cultural institutions.
I enjoy all of the cultural activities that are going on in the city, and to be able to give something back to the community. We've always done that as a family, and that's an important model for us.
It was a breakfast that I had with Joe at the very beginning of the process, and I talked about the challenges and the problems that the Barnes was facing. And I remember at the end of the breakfast, he leaned over the table and he said, "That's a really big, bold idea. I want to be part of that." And he's never looked back.
And at that breakfast with Rebecca, I said, "Rebecca, this is such a world-class idea that I will not only agree to help you, I would also agree to help you financially." And literally on the spot, I committed to a significant financial commitments. Of course, it then increased over a period of time.
Joe is savvy in every sense of the word. And with this project, with the economic downturn and with the controversy surrounding the move, every aspect of his savvy was called upon. Not only does he have vision, but he's able to translate that vision to others. And that was very important in terms of enlisting financial support and membership.
The membership is really the most amazing thing. So we started off with less than a couple of hundred members. I think it was 300 to be exact. And then 3 years later, I think we're over 15,000 members. Now, we've got a ways to go, but it just shows you that people really want to belong to this great vision again.
Joe is just one of those really serious and respected business leaders in this community, and his early personal engagement sent all the right signals to this community at large that this was something to be a part of.
Joe brought to the board the kind of laser-like focus on financial accountability, clear objectives and goals, and to insist that we maintain that kind of financial integrity and the kind of internal integrity an organization has to have, not only to survive, but to prosper.
Joe's been phenomenal. They say, well, how do you and Joe work together? Joe raises all the money and I spend all the money is the short answer.
I would have given 2 cents to be in a conversation as Aileen was describing that they needed one more finish and it was only going to cost X. And Joe asking, is it in the budget? But look what happened. They came in with a spectacular outcome.
So we started off with very generous philanthropists, Mrs. Annenberg, the Pew Charitable Trust led by Rebecca, and the board believed in this and helped us. Jerry and Marguerite Langfest helped us quite a bit, and the William Penn Foundation. But we had over 100 corporations, individuals, foundations that came along and helped us to move this.
When we talked about the building, at first we talked about it being a 100-year building. And then we said, no, actually we want it to be a 200-year building. And now he talks about it as a 200-year building because it's really for the city, it's really for the people of Philadelphia, and it's for the people of the world.
When Aileen Roberts joined the board, she brought her architectural background, artistic eye, and ability to build consensus.
She has a keen eye for the importance of the intersection between art, engineering, construction, and how they all fit together. Moreover, Aileen has a generosity of spirit which enables her to work with the highly trained professionals that we have in all the different areas that were necessary to get the barns done.
Aileen grew up in Wayne, outside Philadelphia, one of 5 children. She received her degree in landscape architecture from the Design School of North Carolina State University. She worked for several architectural firms and later had a banking career with Philadelphia National Bank. Aileen's extensive philanthropic work includes past board trustee of Children's Hospital, the Franklin Institute, Avenue of the Arts, the International House, and the Board of Overseers of the William Penn Charter School. Aileen and her husband Brian, chair of Comcast, have 3 children, and their philanthropic work has benefited many of Philadelphia's educational, medical, and cultural organizations.
I think the hallmark of service is integrity to a mission or a goal. And I think that Aileen really exemplifies that integrity to Dr. Barnes' intent and the mission of the Barnes.
She literally immersed herself in the history of the Barnes, in the original Barnes Trust, and really learned everything that Barnes cared about and that he wanted for the collection and the educational mission.
I also wanted to learn how, what our philosophy was about education and how it actually happened architecturally, where people sat, how many people were in the room, what the teachers were teaching, and most of what we teach is from Dr. Barnes and Violet DeMazia and how they take apart art in really fairly abstract terms of light, color, line, shape.
She's got great taste, which I don't have. She's got a great eye, which I don't have. I learned a lot about architecture during these many years that I've observed it, but she knew all that stuff beforehand. So we had a very easy working relationship.
As chair of the construction committee, Aileen faced the challenge of guiding the board to choose an architectural firm.
We really thought that if we studied the problem long enough, hard enough, and understood what we needed, that we would be able to reach consensus on the architects, and that is what happened. Everyone completely agreed in the end that it should be Todd and Billy. They really examined where we were and what we had, and they said, you are a museum in a garden.
I think that she really was a partner in this, and the best architecture does occur when the client is a wise and knowing partner and a person who simultaneously gives us the reins we need to have and also liberates us and trusts us so that we can do our work best.
She has a kind of joy and a sort of positive spirit that just shines on everything.
Can't say enough wonderful things about our staff. Bill McDowell has been phenomenal on this project. But the other person I think of is Mrs. Annenberg. She was a real role model for me, and I got to meet her and go to her home when we were at the very beginning stages of this project. And I happened to be wearing a scarf at the time because I had no hair. And she took me by the side and sat me next to her, and we were showing her some sketches and some drawings, just very abstract beginnings. And she put her hand on my shoulder and said, just make it beautiful. And those words have stayed with me the whole time.
The richly textured limestone walls of the new building came about in no small part due to Aileen's sense of beauty and texture. She worked closely with Billy and Todd to bring samples of stone for the board to select from a quarry in the Negev in southern Israel.
Called Todd and Billy and said, don't you want to go to Israel in July? And I'm like, no, we don't need to, it's too early. and we said, no, it's really not too early, you really need to go. So we all went, and it was fantastic.
It was a trip where we learned a huge amount, and of course we also had time with her.
By going to look at the stone, she could really understand the choice of the stone, and she could also see with us the possibilities. But Aileen is a person who always has, I think, thinks about things in a balance. How does it look and how does it work?
And just walking through with Todd and Billy today, I point out things that they haven't seen, and they point out things to me. The way the light refracts on the building, the light coming through the windows. It's really, really something that beyond what we even could have imagined. And all of us are just experiencing things for the first time in a new way. It's really terrific.
Adding to the beauty of the building is the majestic Barnes Totem, designed by renowned sculptor Ellsworth Kelly and donated by Joe and Jeanette.
This was a fairly noisy and less linear project than many others that we're involved with. That's why I thought that the Barnes Totem, which has a stop in it, then it starts again at a different angle, is so representative of really the effort that it took to get here. People they believe in what Dr. Barnes did. I wish I had a tenth of his eye for art that he saw at the time that he saw it. And that's what we have to be grateful for.
The art collection, educational opportunities, and beauty of the new barns belong to the citizens of Philadelphia, the nation, and the world, thanks to the dedication and hard work of Joe Neubauer and Aileen Roberts.
They understood its importance. They understood what it would contribute to this city and its citizens and to the larger world of arts.
It will just enhance our reputation. I think really kind of burnish it in the minds of people and expose Philadelphia for some to them for the first time, and that's all good.
20 years from now, 50 years from now, people are going to look at the barns and they are going to be thankful to the leadership of Aileen Roberts and Joe Neubauer.
And the leadership provided is a stunning example of stewardship, of civic commitment, of giving back, of why Philadelphia is such a world-class place. We all feel blessed to live here, and it's because of people like Aileen and Joe.
My great hope for the community is that other people will follow us and will continue to do the same thing that we have done over a long period of time.
When you look at this gorgeous building, it's a building that's, you know, it's not just for you and me, it's not even just for our children, it's for generations to come.